John Daly has captured the attention of fans with his powerful drives, larger-than-life style, and grip-it-and-rip-it approach to golf and life ever since his outstanding triumph in the 1991 PGA Championship. Usually spotted with a cigarette dangling from his lip, Long John is the unchained, unpredictable, and unapologetic bad boy of professional golf. What caused his professional downturn? How does he keep from having such bad luck with love? Stay tuned as we look at John Daly's life and trials. John Daly was born in the California town of Carmichael in 1966. He didn't begin playing golf until he was about 4 years old, and his family relocated to Arkansas. When he was a child, his family frequently relocated, but golf was the only thing that never changed in his life. Daly became a prodigy by taking up golf at such a young age. He was so good at golf that at just 13, he took home his first victory, having played golf at a nearby club and defeated every adult male member. Daly finally received a golf scholarship to attend the University of Arkansas while strengthening his abilities even further. He ultimately dropped out of school though. Why? He had been drinking and partying all the time. However, his notable victories after turning professional in 1987 were sufficient to add his name into the Golfing Hall of Fame. Early on, John was only seen in minor events, evident from his inexperience. Fortunately, his efforts were rewarded when he won his first professional tournament, the Missouri Open in South Africa. Playing well against experienced players was a tremendous confidence booster, and it was more than enough for him to win his first PGA tournament in 1991. Daly's inconsistent play contributed to his popularity among all fans. He may perform incredibly well one day and play not so well the next. After winning the PGA Tour Rookie of the Year honor in 1991, it appeared that John had nowhere else to go, yet everyone admired him. He had started to develop a cult of devoted followers, making him practically one of the most well-liked players on tour. 1992 got off to an incredible start for John with numerous top 10 finishes, but things started to fall apart as people began to see more of his personality outside of golf. In 1993, John failed to win a single PGA Tour event, which was quite surprising. He struck 3 balls into the water and 1 back out of bounds at the US Open in 2000. He just withdrew from that competition after scoring an initial round of 83. Even though he may have had a better win, he struggled to hide his frustration at not having any top 10 finishes to his credit. Of course, his playing suffered the most as a result, and he ultimately became publicly insane, leaving the golf course in the middle of his round and adding insult to insult by throwing his scoreboard into the tent housing the officials. This was a severe misconduct case. In response, the PGA Tour suspended John. He finished his round at the 18th hole of the Australian PGA Championship in 2002 by tossing his putter and ball into the pond. He did this with the golfing world watching. Later, he was disqualified for failing to sign his scoreboard and angrily abusing a tour representative. As a result, he was fined and ordered to write an apology letter. He smashed a fan's camera into a tree during the Australian Open in 2008 out of rage. Then, in 2011, at the Australian Open again, Daly quit the competition after striking 7 consecutive balls into the water. John ultimately admitted that his alcoholism affected him, and he entered rehab. The golfer's extreme attitudes between 1996 and 2000 led to his exclusion from competitions, or, as happened in the 1997 Players' Championship, his forced retirement. The world watched in 1998 as John Daly shot the best score in a single hole in PGA Tour history, despite continuing to be sent to rehab in a true John Daly manner. The contrast occurred the following year when, although completing that year in the top 10, he made headlines once more for his alcohol-dependent play habits and controversial statements. John triumphed in the 2001 BMW International Open with a bit of balance, marking his first victory in the European Tour in 6 years. He received induction in the Arkansas Golf Hall of Fame in 2002. He was also included in the Tiger Woods PGA Tour in 2003, owing to a remarkable comeback in that year. He finished 4th on the PGA Tour and took up the Comeback Player of the Year title. He would achieve the highest point when his personal issues started to outweigh his successes. He lost important tournaments and essentially fell down the golf rankings. There is, however, still good news. After turning 50, John excelled in the 2017 Insperity Invitational on the Champions Tour. His personal life has been on whole show in the media since he became a professional. In June 2007, one of his most well-known individual stories occurred. During one of his tournaments, Daly and his fourth wife got into a heated fight in a Memphis, Tennessee restaurant. During the argument, his wife attacked him with a steak knife. The following day, he began the tournament's second round with apparent wounds on his face. Then, there are all the instances where alcohol was involved. Daly has been frank about how drinking has impacted his profession and life. He said he'd played a lot of golf despite feeling sleepy or still intoxicated from the previous night. Local police in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, found Daly beaten up outside a Hooters and took him into custody. He wasn't officially charged with anything, but his mugshot was made public. That event and the negative media coverage were the final straw for Daly. After that, he decided to stop drinking. Butch Harmon, Daly's coach, had resigned earlier the same year because he had grown to find Daly's alcoholism intolerable. Daly was known for his wild gambling. He admitted that his gambling addiction almost ended his life. Daly reportedly threw $55,000 off a bridge he had won at the casino. Do you have any idea why? Due to yet another heated argument he was having with his wife, Sherry. She complained about he constantly lost money gambling, which triggered the fight. While they were both in the car, he threw the money off a bridge to get even with her. She was reminded by Daly that he made all the payments and that she wasn't employed. She, therefore, had no cause for complaint. On top of all that, Daly had one of his pals drive her to McDonald's so he could show her how difficult it was to eat on a budget to teach her a lesson. And yes, this is the same wife who used a steak knife to inflict all his injuries. After a series of confrontations in front of the public that has resulted in her leaving with their kid, they ultimately divorced in 2010, and Daly has gone through 4 divorces. He wed Dale Crafton, a model, for the first time in 1987. Dale came from an affluent family in Arkansas, so she led a very comfortable life. This did not, however, serve to keep them together. John and Dale got divorced 3 years later in 1990. Just a few months after divorcing his first spouse, John met Betty Fulford, and Betty disclosed that she was divorced and had a kid who was 13 years old from her ex-husband, who was 10 years older than she claimed to be when she met John. 3 disclosures at once would have been too much for John, who publicly lost his cool around the time Betty was pregnant with his daughter. They settled down and married in 1992. However, the birth of his daughter was not enough to cure his alcoholism. This resulted in horrifyingly violent conduct, and fans were taken aback when John was charged with third-degree assault. During a violent argument at their house, he reportedly threw her against a wall. They went through the divorce process again. John doesn't seem to be good at choosing partners. John has dated several women during his life. He has wed 4 women, and he may soon wed a 5th. Surprisingly, this professional golfer has been in a relationship with Anna Klodakis for more than a decade. Their relationship is highly different from the others, but they have yet to marry, and there has been no controversy. Unfortunately, his bad habits caught up with him when he was diagnosed with bladder cancer in 2020. He underwent surgery to have the mass removed. While John was dealing with the ups and downs of his job, he attempted to live a better lifestyle. He's still trying to eat healthier, but he's also unable to stop drinking Diet Coke. Daly has made it his mission to grow out his beard until he is entirely cancer-free. He continues to play golf and receives payment for his public appearances, and he even sells his memorabilia all across the country. Hope you guys liked this video. See you in the next one.